Hi, it's Mai, and I have a story for you. But first of all, I just wanted to say that I've seen a lot of your messages recently. The comments that you've made have been so sweet to me. One person was like, I love how there's no ads or anything, like it's just authentic, like you just try to help people. And that I feel like that's one of my purposes in life, is to share my story and spread awareness and be vulnerable. And it's hard, but seeing comments like that really help because it just pushes me to go back on this channel. Because as a fellow ADHD, you probably know that it's really hard to be consistent. We jump hobbies all the time, and YouTube is one of the things that I have always loved doing and making videos, and sometimes I can forget that. So feel free to DM me on Instagram, by the way, if I haven't posted in a while, like some of you have. So yeah, basically I wanted to talk about this story that I feel like unfortunately a lot of people with ADHD have. See, the problem is a lot of the times, med school for example, and then sometimes other institutions, they don't focus a lot on ADHD. They kind of gloss over it. I've gotten lucky. Most of the people that I've gone to for treatment have, I feel like, understood me. But then there's this one person out of all the people that I've been to who did not believe that I had true ADHD, because they said that the medications had too many negative side effects on me, so they didn't think it was true ADHD, or else it would work, right? Then I told my current therapist, and she was like, that is so unprofessional of her. Excuse my language, but like, that is not okay. Clearly you've been diagnosed multiple times and treated, and also like she said she did her like thesis on this, on stimulants and how they work on people with ADHD, and they don't work for every single one of us. I mean, I think that people should give it a try if you're prescribed for stimulants. Like, I don't want people to be scared of stimulants just because of my experiences with them, but sometimes non-stimulants work better for other people. So that psychiatrist, she basically was, well, first of all, even if she didn't say all of that, she was cold to me the entire 40 minutes that I was talking to her. She was like asking questions like this. So like, did you have any trauma, and like when you're growing up, things like that. Like, she did not know how to engage in conversation and be an empath, or at least fake empathy, right? So that was really hard because I tried to give her as much information as possible. She says, you do meet the criteria for ADHD based on your answers to these questions. The only reason she said she didn't think I had ADHD is because Adderall, Ritalin, like the medications that I mentioned to her that I've used and had bad side effects, they didn't work very well on me because the anxiety was so high for a lot of the stimulants that it kind of overshadowed if there were any positive effects at all, you know what I mean? So that's why. But she's like, I can't help you, like I don't feel comfortable prescribing you anything because of the reason that I just said. And I was like, oh, okay. So I basically went to the appointment for nothing, and then she's like, could I help you with something else? Like, is there anything else that you need help on? Like, she basically had that tone the whole time. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but just like kind of passive aggressive, honestly. When she asked, could I help you with something else? Is there anything else? I'm like, in my head, I was like, the one thing that I came for help and you couldn't even do. So like, what else would I say? You know what I mean? So yeah, she was like, and then she also like asked me questions about schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, things like that, but I didn't meet the criteria for any of the other disorders she tested me for anyways. So yeah, I don't want this story to scare you. It's way too common. I've seen it in Facebook groups and messages in my DMs and things like that, where people just don't believe you. And you know what, my answer to that is always get a second opinion. If you need to get a third opinion, third time's the charm. But it can be really disappointing, and yeah, it could be really disappointing, but don't give up, because once you find that person you're comfortable with, like my first favorite therapist, she actually admitted to me after a few sessions that she has ADHD, which made our session so much better because I really felt like she could relate to me because she started telling like little stories and things like that that were about her personal life, and she acknowledges that we have different upbringings, completely different upbringings. She's an older like Caucasian lady, like obviously like an older well-off Caucasian lady who grew up in a wealthy family, so obviously we're gonna have a lot of differences, but our common ground is the ADHD symptoms and how we react to things and etc., right? So that was like coincidence because when I contacted her, I didn't know she had ADHD. I was just contacting people in my insurance. So I would suggest not to give up and to find someone, because this story that I just told you, it's one out of many, right? Don't be discouraged. I'm here if you need, comment, or if you don't feel comfortable commenting, like, sharing whatever, feel free to DM me. I think once I hit enough subscribers and like build a little bit more of a following, then I want to like start a Facebook group or some sort of group where we can talk to each other, because a lot of groups I've seen are adults. It's like older adults, like parents with ADHD kids. But how about like Gen Z millennial ADHDers, you know what I mean, for example? So yeah, I think that that's all I have to say. But thank you so much for being patient with me and for all your kind comments, because every single comment, like, it really makes my whole week. I think about it all the time, and it's because of the comments that I feel comfortable sharing my stories.